By being your own bank, you're prioritizing all areas of personal finance. Of course, the money is a huge portion. The currency is a smaller portion, I would say. But you want to know what goes hand in hand with stacking silver, stacking gold, and stacking dollar bills? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and staying safe. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I want to talk about silver and gold and being your own bank. This is somewhat of an extension from the video I posted a couple of days ago, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos. Also subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. Brand new video over there, go check it out. The link will be in the description. And if you want to get some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel, I would really appreciate it. Any and all merchandise can be found by clicking the first link in the description section down below. Thank you in advance. It's more than appreciated. So for those of you who watched the video that I posted 2, maybe 3 days ago, it was about half an hour long, and to be honest with you, I would say that that was probably one of the most important videos I've ever posted, if not the #1 most important video I've ever posted. So if you haven't seen it, I strongly suggest going to watch that video first and then coming back to this video, because this is essentially part 2. I wanted to talk about being your own bank today, and I wanted to talk about the importance of stacking both silver and gold and not being tunnel vision on one metal and completely neglecting the other metal. Now, I know it seems as though it goes without saying. I know it seems like common knowledge. I know it seems like it's pretty much common sense for stacking, but there are a few people out there, and I don't know if it's a personality trait, but it seems as though it's just in their nature to be argumentative just for the sake of arguing. Now, this is not very common in the stacking world, but occasionally you'll come across somebody who is dead set on silver or dead set on gold, and they're very combative when talking about the other metal, the metal that they don't stack for whatever reason. So I wanted to talk about this today because I was thinking of an interesting analogy. I was thinking about if you choose to be your own bank, if you're banking and doing your finances and taking care of your money and making your own financial decisions and everything that goes into the concept, you're taking care of money on your own terms. You're doing things your way. It's your money. No one needs to hold it for you. You can hang on to it. And by stacking the silver, it's almost as if those would be the singles, 5s, and 10s. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any 10s on me, but I see silver as the singles, the 5s, and the 10s. Gold, on the other hand, is similar to the 20s, 50s, and 100s, the larger denominations. You see, both metals have their pros and their cons. And dollar bills of larger amounts versus the smaller amounts, they have their pros and their cons as well. When you're working with silver, or the singles, 5s, and the 10s, those are probably the easiest to work with. There's not a whole lot that you can't do with them. Sometimes if you want to buy something that's, I don't know, $200, $300, you're going to need quite a bit of singles, 5s, and 10s, but you could still make it work. Maybe it's a little bit inconvenient. Maybe it's a little bit of a pain in the neck. Maybe you have to do quite a bit more counting. Maybe you got to be a little bit more careful, but you can make it work. But typically, if you're going to be buying something, it's not going to cost you $200, $300. A lot of people buy stuff at the store, maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks. So if you're working with the singles, 5s, and 10s, very easy to work with. But if you're going to be working with gold, aka maybe the 20s, 50s, and 100s, it might not be as easy to work with because each piece of gold is, according to spot price anyway, worth quite a bit more than a piece of silver. I mean, a little 1 ounce silver bar right now, according to spot price, this is only worth about 25, 26 bucks, excluding the premium. But this right here is worth about 180 to 190 bucks, excluding the premium. By including the premium, this is closer to 30, and this is closer to maybe 210, 220. The point I'm trying to get across is, if you're stacking the gold, it might not be as easy to work with, especially gold, not in fractional pieces. I'm talking about the 1 troy ounce, the 2 troy ounce gold bars and whatnot. You're packing thousands and thousands of dollars into each individual piece of metal. If you're doing it on a fractional level, like what I do, 10th ounce and quarter ounce pieces, maybe you're not packing thousands of dollars into each particular piece, but you're packing hundreds of dollars in. Like I said, each one of these has about $200 packed into it. Each one of these have about $500 packed into it. And those are just 10th ounce and quarter ounce. Imagine if I had a bunch of half ounce or 1 troy ounce gold coins. Might not be easy to work with. However, the pro, in contrast to the con, saves a lot more room. You have a lot more space. Easier to move around. Easier to transport. Easier to hide if you needed to. Easier to carry. It weighs a whole lot less. I mean, I put about $200 into this right here. You know what else I put about $200 into? My 10-ounce silver bars at the time. Spot price has gone up a little bit. The gold to silver ratio is no longer 1 to 100, but when it was, one of these little 10th ounce gold coins was worth roughly the same amount in fiat dollar bills anyway as a 10-ounce silver bar. 10 troy ounces of silver beside 1/10 of a troy ounce of gold worth the same dollar amount. And that was just last year. The gap is closed in a little bit because the gold to silver ratio never stays in one spot. It's always moving around. Both metals go up, both metals go down. Sometimes they close in on each other, sometimes they go away from each other. But at the time, just last year, it's about 1 to 100. 10-ounce silver bar, 1/10 of an ounce gold coin. That 10-ounce silver bar is almost the size of a smartphone. That 10th ounce gold coin is about the size of a fingernail. Very easy to work with when it comes to silver. Very easy to move and hide when it comes to gold, which is why I'm a big believer in diversification. I'm a big believer of stacking both. I think both are crucial. And guess what? It doesn't just stop at silver and gold. There's also platinum, there's palladium, there's rhodium. Now, I don't have any of those 3 metals, and at this particular point in time, I have no desire to get involved in those precious metals. I'm going to stick to the silver and the gold. However, there's another metal out there that I do in fact stack. And I have it right here. And I don't even know if you want to say that I stack it. Copper. Now when I say that I'm stacking copper, what I really mean is that occasionally when I have loose change or spare change in my pocket or whatever, or if I find some around the house, I'll take a look at what year the penny is, because let's be honest, it's nearly impossible to find any actual silver quarters or dimes or anything like that. But when it comes to pennies, I've had about a 20% success rate, which means 20% of the time, if I look at a penny that I find, it's copper. 95% copper. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about copper. The reason I brought it up is because just we're on the topic of diversification, and copper is almost like wealth preservation on a micro level. I do not convert my dollars into it. In fact, I've only done that 2 times. Once was at the very beginning of 2018. I picked up a little copper round with my very first piece of gold, which is shortly after I first started stacking silver. And the second time was just a couple of days ago, and it wasn't because I wanted to convert my dollars into the metal, but it was just because I really wanted that particular round. I really liked the way that it looked. I'm typically against converting dollars into copper. I'd rather stack it for free, which is what I do. I don't accumulate a whole lot of copper because my copper stack relies on my ability to find it, but I'm not too worried about copper. When it presents itself to me, I'll absolutely hang on to it, but I'm not really going to go out of my way looking for copper, and I genuinely do not believe in converting dollars into copper. I just did it this time around because it just seemed like a fun little novelty piece. I'll go back to the silver and the gold. In reference to the silver and the gold, I talked about how I see silver as somewhat of the singles, fives, and tens of being your own bank, and I talked about how gold is somewhat of the 20s, 50s, and hundreds of being your own bank. Now, that's somewhat of an analogy, it's somewhat of a metaphor, but at the same time, you should probably also literally have the singles, fives, tens, 20s, 50s, and hundreds. If you're going to be your own bank with the precious metals, and you fail to include some currency, I don't think you're financially preparing yourself. You got to have a little bit of currency. You got to have some fiat glorified IOU dollar bills included, stacked up alongside your silver and your gold. Because this stuff right here, this was designed to take care of situations in the short term. Silver and gold, on the other hand, those are to take care of situations in the long term. But I also wanted to mention that I actually had a conversation with someone that I know who actually works at the bank. He has worked at the bank that I've been using for years. Now, I'm not too big on the bank. I don't keep a whole lot of cash in my checking account, aka my spending account. That's what I call it, because I leave the cash that I know I'm going to need to spend, that goes in the checking account. So I call it a spending account. As for a savings account, I do not have one. I did for a very short while, and it was closed due to inactivity because I kept a grand total of $0.00 in it. And they saw that I wasn't using it, I wasn't putting anything in, I wasn't taking anything out because there wasn't anything to take out, and it got closed. You want to know how much that hurt me? Not at all. Didn't faze me one bit. As soon as I got a notification saying that my savings account was closed, I said, okay, what's for lunch? Moved right on with my day. Did not care. However, there is something that I wanted to talk about because that guy who works at the bank is someone that I've been working with, not as a coworker, but the bank that I use, he's always the guy that I go to. His name's Jeff. He's helped me out quite a bit over the years. One time we were having a conversation. We were talking about how some people save money in different ways. We were talking about how some people buy land just for the sake of saving money. That's just their way of doing it. We were talking about how a lot of people use savings accounts. A lot of people use a checking account as a savings account for whatever reason. We were talking about how some people just hold on to their cash. We even talked a little bit about gold. Didn't talk about silver, just brought up gold. And his opinion, well, I can't even really say that he had much of an opinion. He didn't really have much to say about it. He didn't really know a whole lot about gold. He knows that gold's important. He knows that gold is valuable. He knows that gold will continue to hold its value and likely to go up in value, but he doesn't really know anything about gold stacking. And if I'm having a conversation inside a bank about gold stacking and they say they don't know anything about gold stacking, I'm going to say,
yeah, me either. I know nothing about it. Never did it before. I don't have any gold. Nope, not for me.
But I thought it was pretty interesting because even from the perspective of someone who doesn't know anything about the precious metals, other than the fact that they're worth quite a bit of fiat dollar bills, this is a guy whose entire career is about money, finances, saving, spending, borrowing, lending, credit cards, mortgages, auto loans. This guy's entire profession is about money, and even though he doesn't know a whole lot about silver and gold, he still understands the importance. And I thought that that was pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty unique. This was a couple years ago, by the way, that I had this conversation with him. But I wanted to bring it up because someone who works at the bank, or really anyone in the realm of finance, doesn't matter if it's a guy who works at the bank, it doesn't matter if it's an accountant, doesn't matter if it's a financial strategist, doesn't matter. If they're involved in the world of money, they have a little bit better of an understanding than probably the average Joe who knows nothing about precious metals, because you want to know what the average Joe also knows nothing about? Dollar bills. The average person out there knows nothing about money, knows nothing about currency, knows nothing about fiat, knows nothing about silver, nothing about gold, nothing about dollars. They don't know anything about business. They don't know anything about investing. They don't know anything about real estate or the stock market or the general state of the economy. All they know is their job and whatever Netflix show it is that they want to watch when they get home from work. Fall asleep on the couch, watching their show. They wake up the next morning and they go right back to work, and then they go back home and they turn the TV back on, and that's fine. That's what they want to do. But the point I'm trying to get across is the average Joe doesn't know a whole lot about making money, saving money, investing money. They don't know anything about money. But the people who work at the bank, they might not be on board with what we do. They might not enjoy the fact that we do not have savings accounts. For those of us who don't have savings accounts, they might not enjoy the fact that we don't leave a whole lot in our checking account. They might not enjoy the fact that even though we don't go to the bank and let them know necessarily, but they don't like the fact that a lot of people out there are being their own bank. And it doesn't even have to go about silver and gold. It doesn't have to be that way. If somebody at the bank learns that one of their customers is being their own bank, or whatever verbiage or terminology you want to use to explain that, holding onto their cash on their own without using a bank account, that's not exactly what they want to hear. That's like going to a restaurant that you used to go to a couple days a week and telling them, hey, I'm not really going to come here anymore because I'm going to make my own food. Very similar. Same thing. Not a whole lot different. A customer leaving isn't what they want to learn about. So if they hear that somebody's being their own bank, or whatever way you want to explain it, in their eyes, it probably means that they're going to keep all or most of their cash in their house or wherever it is that they live. They're just going to hold on to their own cash rather than letting the bank hold the cash for them. They don't automatically think,
Oh no, this guy's gonna start stacking silver. This guy's gonna have a bunch of gold bars.
that's not what they think. They say being your own bank. They think just holding onto the cash. They think having a whole pile of these in your house somewhere. But by being your own bank, you're actually trying to take care of a little bit of everything. You're prioritizing all areas of personal finance. Of course, the money is a huge portion. The currency is a smaller portion, I would say. But you want to know what goes hand in hand with stacking silver, stacking gold, and stacking dollar bills? Reducing expenses, paying off debt, especially high interest debt, getting yourself as close to being debt-free as humanly possible, and going from there. That's what I prioritize. That's what a lot of people I know prioritize. And guess what? As I said in the video, part 1, this is part 2, as I said in part 1, many people suggest that debt is actually modern day slavery. And if you're held down by debt, if you're handcuffed, if you're shackled down to debt, the person that you owe money or currency to is always over your shoulder. If you owe someone $100, let's just say you owe me $100, I would not be happy to find out that if you still owe me $100 and you go on vacation, I wouldn't be happy to hear that you still owe me $100 and yet you bought a brand new car. Or you did this, or you did that. And vice versa. If I borrowed $100 from you, and you found out that I had $100, which I was supposed to be using to pay you back, and I went to the store and I bought something that I didn't need with it, you probably wouldn't be all too happy. So by being in debt, especially high interest debt, because the interest is what actually kills you, debt holds you down. Interest is what finishes you off. But by being in debt, you always have someone over your shoulder. If you maxed out your credit cards on stuff you didn't need, you want to know what the bank or the financial institutions say, or the credit card companies say, when they see that you have a negative balance? And you take a look at the app on your phone, or the website online, however you do online or mobile banking, or if you're in person, you're looking at the ATM, regardless. If you're looking at the screen and you see that you have a negative balance and you have to choose between paying it off, or at least paying a portion of it off, or not paying it off at all and doing something irresponsible instead, you're not the only one looking at that screen. You also have the bank or the financial institution or the credit card company over your shoulder trying to decipher what the best move is. See, they're not looking at it like, what are you going to do with your money? They're looking at it as, what are you going to do with our money? This is ours. It belongs to both of us. Not just you. It's not yours. It's ours. We share it. What are you going to do with our money? Are you going to consult me first? This is a collaboration. This is team effort. See, if it's in their possession, it belongs to both of you. If it's in your possession, it belongs to you. And if you're in debt, it belongs to them. So I wanted this video to be somewhat of a part 2 to the video that I posted, I think just 2 or 3 days ago. I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know, what are your thoughts on being your own bank with the precious metals? And if anybody's interested in joining the Precious Metals VIP Club, it's where I can do things on my own terms, not on YouTube's terms, my terms. I'm hosting privately held live streams. They're smaller, easier to manage. I'm also doing giveaways, discounts, personalized promo codes, shoutouts, deal alerts when silver and gold is on sale on a variety of different websites. And you can watch all of the YouTube videos early and commercial free. Come join the Precious Metals VIP Club. It'll be the first link in the description. You're invited. I'd be happy to have you. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button. If you guys like me, make sure to subscribe. New videos every single day, 365 days a year. Also subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. Brand new video over there. Go check it out. The link will be in the description. Trying really hard to hit 2,000 subscribers. We just hit 1,500. And I appreciate that. And if you want to help support the channel in the biggest possible way, please consider getting yourself some DYDSS merchandise. Of course, we have some precious metal themed t-shirts and hoodies, which are up for grabs, along with a ton of other products. T-shirts, hoodies, even stickers, many of which are raising funds and awareness for different charity organizations, such as the recently released Kraken Stackin' t-shirt, hoodie, sticker, and coffee mug, inspired by the beautiful 2-ounce silver Kraken coin, which, by the way, is helping us raise a little bit of funds and awareness for ocean cleanup charity organizations at no additional cost to you. It comes out of my pocket, not yours. Any and all merchandise can be found by clicking the first link in the description section down below. Thank you in advance. It's more than appreciated. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know, once again, what are your thoughts on everything that I shared in today's video? Do you consider stacking silver and gold to be essentially being your own bank? Is that what the ultimate goal is for you? And what are your thoughts on everything that I believe goes along with being your own bank? Such as getting yourself as close to being debt-free as humanly possible, paying down high-interest debt and all debt, getting yourself into a position where you're saving money on your own terms, your way, without anyone over your shoulder that you're sharing your money with. And my analogy, talking about how I believe silver is somewhat of the singles, fives, and tens, while gold is somewhat of the 20s, 50s, and 100s. Obviously not exactly, but the reason I use that as an analogy was because I believe it's important to have all. You gotta have the singles, gotta have the fives, gotta have the tens, gotta have the 20s, the 50s, the 100s, the silver, and the gold. In my opinion and from my perspective, not a financial advisor, nothing on this channel is financial advice. Do your own research, form your own opinions, make your own decisions based off of your conclusions, not mine. Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.